right, welcome to episode 2 of Mock SportsCenter. I'm here with the NFL guys. We've got Evan, Dan, and Brendan. So we'll be talking about the NFL draft, which starts on Thursday and runs for about 3 days. 3 QBs are predicted to go first: Caleb Williams to the Bears, Drake May to the Commanders, and Jaden Daniels to the Patriots. What do we think about this QB-heavy first round that's projected to happen?
What has Drake May done? I've never seen that dude play. Like, I'll see a UNC football game, and I'll just turn it off. Like, that's a basketball school. I don't care about Drake May.
Okay. All right, well, I think it's good. I think it's good for the NFL. Because due to all the, injuries last year with all the quarterbacks, you need some fresh ones, maybe some guys to prove themselves. A lot of teams need a new quarterback. So, I think it's good.
Yeah, it was a crazy quarterback drought last year, and I think it'll be cool seeing Caleb Williams for the Bears because they have a whole new offense. And so, because they got your running backs, and then with Keenan Allen and DJ Moore, will be pretty good. So, yeah.
And the Vikings are also projected to select J.J. McCarthy in the 11th spot. How will he do in the NFL compared to with Michigan? Is he an NFL caliber quarterback?
With Justin Jefferson, I think it's hard to be bad, to be honest. Like, you can just throw it up there. He'll get it. He'll catch it. He'll run 20 yards. So, I think without him, though, just J.J. McCarthy and maybe with, the Chargers offense, he would never do anything good.
Also, to back up that statement, I don't think J.J. McCarthy's a bad quarterback, and I'd love to see him do well. It's just he feels like if you built a basic quarterback, he's your starter quarterback build in Madden.
I think that it would be nice for Vikings to have a fresh start with a new QB because they had to cycle through a bunch of QBs last year and it didn't really work out well. And also you just got Jordan Addison last year and he did really well when Jefferson was out, and then also you got DJ Hawkinson, so that's pretty good offense all around, and that's a lot of targets that J.J. McCarthy can have. So.
And will Caleb Williams be a bust in the NFL?
I think he will. I think he will be a bust. He's constantly fumbling. He does not have good deep throw accuracy. He can move around a lot, but, in today's NFL, all the good quarterbacks are moving around a lot. So he does have that good trait. But, throw accuracy and, constantly giving the ball up, I would not say he's going to do great.
I think you're definitely going to have to watch more than just this season to see his growth because as of now, the Bears are kind of in the dumps. I don't think they have a great receiver core. I think DJ Moore and Keenan Allen are fine, but I feel like a first-year quarterback isn't going to do that well with the Bears. They already ruined Justin Fields. So, I hope they do a little bit better with Caleb Williams.
I hope that he's getting put into kind of a CJ Stroud situation where he was kind of brand new and they kind of had a big rebuild and Texans just thrived last year. So I think it'd be cool to see them do well. I'm talking about Bears. I think it'd be cool to see them do well with a rookie quarterback. And I don't think he's going to be a bust. I think that I'm going to disagree with you, Evan, about having mobile quarterbacks because they had a mobile quarterback in Justin Fields and they just traded him away. Now, granted, he wasn't a great quarterback, overall, but he was a big runner, and he got a ton of yards, and that was, his thing. But I think that having Caleb Williams, mixing it up, I think it's way better. And, yeah, he might not have, the deep throw accuracy, but I think if you have, Keenan Allen, DJ Moore, and Cole Kmet out there, I think you'll definitely have a lot more options. So.
And in terms of quarterbacks in the league right now, Dak Prescott will be finishing up his 4-year, $160 million contract with the Cowboys after this year. And they're not really pushing a new contract on him, and they're okay with entering this season without a new contract. Where should or will he go after the 2024 season?
A nice house in L.A., maybe. Retirement, I hope.
I think Dak is still good. He's always out there in the stats. I know, he's not great in the playoffs, but I think he'll find a home pretty easily.
So he's just going to do a Shaq on the Celtics type thing? He's just going to kind of live out there,
Yeah, maybe.
He's going to go to the Commanders. They're going to put him down nice and soft and be like, You can throw a couple balls, Dak.
Yeah, well, I think he's still got a lot of talent left.
Yeah, I agree with Evan. I think he'll do well, and even if I think it kind of depends on how he does next year. I think if he does well, then I think Dallas will keep him. But at the same time, Dallas also might want to change because they don't do well in playoffs. They always do well in the regular season, and they just screw it up once they get far. But I think if they don't sign him, I think he'll definitely find another home because of like the amount of QBs that teams need. He'll definitely be like open to other contracts. So that's what I think.
This is our soccer section. I'm here with Peter, Liam, and Connor. The Champions League semifinals are set with Dortmund and PSG playing and Bayern Munich facing Real Madrid. And in La Liga over the weekend, Jude Bellingham scored the winner to complete Real Madrid's late comeback in the last 20 minutes to win 3-2. And the game resulted in Real Madrid now up 11 points on Barcelona and first and second place. And it seemed to be Barcelona's last chance at a La Liga comeback. What does this game tell us about Real Madrid and their form heading into the Champions League semifinals? Is this showing us that they can make the run at another Champions League title? What do you think?
I think it's proven that they can come back from tough situations. They were down against Barca 2-1. And I think it shows that they've got real grit, and I think they've got a really strong team with a lot of depth. So I can see them making it to the final, definitely.
Yeah, I think Real Madrid are definitely going to be the favorites over Bayern Munich. They just got more quality and depth to them.
Yeah, I think Real Madrid is going to wipe the floor with Bayern Munich.
I
don't think it'll be that close.
I think maybe the most important part's the manager. Thomas Tuchel's just not very smart. I mean,
he did win a Champions League.
He did win a Champions League, but he's down 11 points to Leverkusen. He's got one of the best squads in the world.
Yeah,
He's got to do better.
You're having one of the most expensive teams lose to Leverkusen, who have no quote-unquote superstars.
Florian Wirtz, but fair.
And Cole Palmer, he's had an excellent run, multiple hat tricks in his last few games. Will he continue his excellent form in the season to come, or is this kind of a temporary spell of good performances?
I think it'll stay, and he'll keep up his work rate. I just think he wanted to prove everyone wrong at Man City especially, and it shows how when he plays, especially against the more quality teams, he really flourishes and tries to show that should be on them.
Yeah, I think we knew Cole Palmer was pretty class when he was playing at City. Whenever he made a cameo off the bench, he always looked like he wanted to do something. He was ready to take the ball on. He wasn't scared.
Yeah,
so I think he can definitely continue.
I think he's going to continue his form. He may drop off a little bit like Haaland did this year compared to last year, but I still think that he's going to be a top-quality player.
The FA Cup, that has also been going on, and Man United beat Coventry, a middle-of-the-table team in the Championship, which is Tier 2 in England. And they made it all the way to the semifinals, shockingly, but then VAR took away one of their goals, and then Man United ended up winning in pens after Coventry missed 2 penalties. Is VAR and the newer technology, is that kind of ruining the traditional aspect of the game, or is it making things fair, or is it the offside call was down to
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
inch. Is that taken away from the game?
I don't think that's fair. I think if your elbow's offside, let's just play it. Come on. You can't really control that.
I don't think VAR is ruining the game, but I do think it makes it more not, at the end of the day, a human still has to, make the call off the VAR. Still someone's reviewing that footage just in playback time. So there's still going to be human mistakes, so it still keeps the game.
Premier League introducing semi-automated offside decisions next year. So
What does that mean?
I'm not 100% sure, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the thing about the offsides rule is it is objective, but the subjective calls from VAR have been so inconsistent this season with handballs, fouls. I just don't know where the line gets drawn.
I think Chelsea was robbed of a handball by Jack Grealish.
I don't know.
Kick.
I agree. I think he jumps up.
His arm
ball
is
hits
clearly
his
stretched
hand.
out.
in
It
the box.
hits off his side
I think
first,
it's gotta
and then
be a
hits off his
penalty.
inner
It hits off
arm,
his side first.
but then hits off his inner arm.
If it hits off the side first, it's a deflection. That's not usually a pen.
Mm.
I don't know. I don't think it was a pen, but I also don't like Chelsea, so I could definitely have something to
I
do
think the
with it.
biggest VAR decision was the Everton's game against Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest has clearly disallowed 3 penalties.
3 penalties.
3 penalties.
You didn't
3
watch any of them,
penalties.
Liam.
Yes,
we
no,
all know you didn't watch any of them.
I watched all of it.
You watched like one highlight reel.
Yes.
I mean, I think Nottingham Forest have embarrassed themselves. They tweeted that VAR is a Luton fan and that they were like plotting against them. Like, there's just no way that's true. Like, that's just childish from Forest.
I think it's respectable.
If we didn't have like all this technology, I feel like fans would be asking for it because they'd be upset by calls by the referee.
For sure.
So, yeah, if we didn't have it, would the game be worse or would it be like more traditional?
There's always going to be people that complain.
Yeah, there'll never be a call that everyone
Yeah.
agrees on 100%. So
I don't think the technology is the problem. I think it's the people behind it. I mean, they're just like not consistent at all. VAR is such a good idea, but it's just not executed well.
All right, this is the NHL section. I'm joined here by Xavier, Andrew, and Lincoln. The first topic we'll be talking about, and arguably probably the biggest news in the hockey community right now, is Arizona Coyotes. They're officially moving to Salt Lake City next year and will play at the Utah Jazz arena. It's likely they'll be extended through their contract and be the newest team in the NHL. Will this improve the Coyotes' kind of rough situation by bringing new life to the organization?
I personally think it will. I mean, right now the Coyotes are playing in a college stadium that they can't even fill. Arizona has never really been a great state for hockey. It's never been able to fill with fans. It's the desert. It's not made for hockey. And I think the movement to Utah, even though Utah's still a warmer, like really warm state, like still sort of desert, I think it's way better for fans, and I think people are really hyped for it. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time coming. I mean, like they're, like you just said, like college team playing in a college ASU, I believe, right? Their facilities. So yeah, I mean, I think a big part of that. I mean, obviously the population of Arizona is greater than Salt Lake City. I'm like pretty sure, like 99% sure. But like I feel like you said, like it being in a desert and like it's not really attracting that much hockey, and ASU, I guess not being as it can't take up all. They can't fill all the people, right?
Yeah, so. And Utah already has established a sports market with the Jazz, who have seen pretty good attendance for NBA standards.
I think that it'll improve their like team, just in, like having a new fan base. I feel like it'll like grow more fans towards the game, but I feel like it still like disappoints their fan base in Arizona, because like they've been there forever and like their old stadium was like super far out from Phoenix, which is like the main population. So I don't think that helped them out very much. So like even though they were in like the college arena, they still filled it, but those fans kind of just got screwed over by.
Yeah, and the fans have to go like drive. I don't know how far it is, but I'm guessing pretty far from.
It's a big drive.
It's probably like an hour.
Like, it's a big drive just to go to one game.
On a quick note, possible team names. Do we have any ideas of our own?
I mean, me personally, I like the team name the Stormin' Mormons. I think it's a funny thing. I don't know. I just think it's kind of cool. But it's probably more practical names, but I think Stormin' Mormons would be a pretty comedic one.
Yeah, and I believe the name before the mascot will be Utah instead of Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
I've heard the Yetis is a name being thrown out there, which I don't think really applies to Utah, but that's probably the most popular name going out right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a cool name, though. Blizzard, I believe, is also around.
Yeah, Blizzard, I like Blizzard.
Yeah, I mean, like, another potential name that I thought would be cool is, like, Bobcats. I'd be like, I'm not gonna lie. I just searched up popular animals in Utah, and Bobcats came up, so Bobcats seems like a cool name.
Okay, it's playoff hockey and the Leafs. We all know the Leafs suck when it comes to playoff hockey. They did finally break their first-round exit streak last year, only to be swept in the second round. on another note, Matt Remp scored his first playoff goal before Matthews. Obviously, the difference in talent. Matthews scored almost 70 goals. Remp, I think he had maybe 100 times penalty minutes than he did points in his short-lived rookie season. What do we think about?
You like Matt Remp, don't you?
I'm a big Matt Remp. He's great for the game. Well, what do we think about the Leafs playoff situation?
Me personally, I think the Bruins are gonna just wipe the Leafs. Like, obviously it's 1-1 right now, but like I personally think the Leafs suck in the playoffs. They're a good regular season team, but like when it comes to playoffs, they really do suck. Their team's pretty awful in the playoffs. I don't think Matthews very happy about not hitting 70 goals, which was not a great start to the playoffs for them either. So yeah, I think that Boston's about to kill them in the playoffs.
Yeah, Toronto, according to Money Puck, which is like a statistical hockey, I guess, website, it gives the Leafs a 10.8% chance to win the Stanley Cup, which is a rather high percentage. And it actually favors them over the Boston Bruins. I don't know. I feel like, obviously, with their track record, it's going to be tough for them to pull that off. But, I mean, I'm all here for the story, so we'll just see what happens.
I definitely think they're a better team this year than they have been before compared to, like, the Bruins, who are their opponent very often in the first round. I think they definitely can put up a better fight, but I still think they just don't have it in them to get out of the first round.
And I just looked it up to make sure I was correct. Ilya Samsonov, starting in goal for the Leafs in both games, has been known as a very shaky goaltender. We saw it where Joseph Woll, a St. Louis native, took his spot in the playoffs last year, but coming back from an injury, Woll has not been the starter starting in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I think with that inconsistency in goal, which has always been a problem for the Leafs, I think that's probably what's going to ultimately cost them.
Yeah, I think Samsonov's had a really rough last couple years, especially after leaving the Capitals. I think he's had a pretty rough go, and I think Woll was the one that really carried the Leafs past first round last year. And with Samsonov in net, I really don't think that the Leafs are going to beat the Bruins and make it to the second round.
I mean, Samsonov, I think, obviously rough start to the season. You know, he was not even the starter. Woll was a starter at some point, but I think he's definitely been in a more of an incline, I would say. I mean, he's been getting better. Obviously, he's still a shaky goaltender. I mean, if you start off the season pretty bad, it's going to be tough for you to recover, but I think he's recovered himself pretty well. So, I mean, I'm pretty interested to see what happens there. But, I mean, on that incline, I feel like he might have some good games, though.
Yeah, it's possible. The thing about shaky goaltenders is whenever they're not shaky, they're usually playing better than the average. Now for the final topic for the NHL segment, our debate. And personally, I love this. I already talked to Belly about it. Not a big fan of his take, but would Wayne Gretzky find success in the NHL today?
I think it's obvious. You know, if anyone thinks that this dude, if you put him if you take his skills from how many ever years ago he was and put him into today's NHL, you would see a drastic decline. This dude was skating legs straight, barely bending his knees, flipping barely moving, waddling on the ice. Like, he's playing against goaltenders that you could probably slide it on the ice 1 mile per hour and it would go in. Like, these goaltenders don't know what they're doing, and anyone that thought it was a professional game back then, and in today's standards, is absolutely wrong. Like, we've seen such a development in the game. Obviously, that's what you want from any professional league, right? You want a development of the sport, kind of like the Michael Jordan-LeBron debate. You know, we're done with the 90s, all right? We're done with the 90s because the game has to develop, and that's just what you have to see. And what, even during COVID, they'll play those old NHL games. I was watching them. I needed a barf bag. It was terrible. I don't know what I was watching out there. He's playing against defensemen that have a 9-to-5 like barely be able to make it to the game, like running to their car, driving 90 miles per hour on the road in order to make it to the game from their 9-to-5 job. Like these guys, they're not professionals. You know, they're not able to, I guess, perform at the same level as people are today. Today, they're committed to it. I mean, I was obviously kidding at the 9-to-5. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised because they're so bad.
Well, you said LeBron and Jordan, but the thing is, the technology between Jordan and LeBron.
Yeah, but
the game has changed.
They were more.
The ball is pretty much the exact same. The shoes are all the exact same. They haven't gotten any faster. In hockey, the sticks, the skates, the equipment, the knowledge about training for ice hockey.
Right.
Everything, all the technology has gotten a lot better, and that's why the game has gotten faster. It's not like we're just building superhumans in the lab, and that's why hockey is faster now.
Right.
It's the equipment they're using allows them to be faster. Like, have you seen Wayne Gretzky used a fully wooden stick with no curve on?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's some stuff like you'd find at a yard sale. Like, Wayne Gretzky was so ahead of the curve for his game.
Right.
Like, if you took him in a time machine with the same skates, same stick, and put him in the NHL, he wouldn't make my AAA team. But
they're not that good, let's be honest. Come on.
But if you took him, the person, with the skill and the work ethic, and you took him and you gave him a pair of new skates, a new stick, and you gave him more information about the proper way to train, Wayne Gretzky, maybe he wouldn't be scoring as many goals. He wouldn't be as dominant as he was. But he would absolutely play in the NHL, and I'd go so far as to say he would strive in the NHL. He would be a McDavid or a Matthews. Now, he wouldn't be that much higher than them like how he was in his day, because everyone else is kind of caught up to that. But Wayne Gretzky was great, and you can't take that away from him.
Yeah, obviously he's the GOAT. I mean, that's not a debate. Like, but I feel like the way how you would define, I guess, putting him in today's game, right? It's a lot more fast paced, like what I've been saying. But obviously with the technology and the improvement of basically anything, the improvement of humans is gonna obviously is gonna become better, right? Like you're gonna become better if you have to get better technology. And I mean that's just the nature of today's world. So I think I would agree if you, I guess, gave birth to another Wayne Gretzky in today's world, he would be on the top caliber. But like I was saying, he's playing against very bad players, so it's kind of hard to compare them to today's players that are all committed to the game, that are all very committed to their craft. Not saying they weren't, like back in the day. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I'm just saying with him being so much drastically better than his competition, I feel like there has to be a way higher range of commitment from him than the other players.
Yeah, I think like you couldn't just like take him and like give him the new equipment and stuff and put him in today's game, and I think he would fail. Like the goalies were so much worse back then. Like the game is so much different now. It's much faster paced. Like the goalies, I don't know about this, but like you two are both goalies, but I feel like one of the biggest moves back then for a goalie was like the pad stacker. But like in today's game, the pad stack is never like in maybe a certain situation, but like at that point a player's just gonna go top shelf and it's gonna be a goal every time. Like the pad stacker's never gonna like stand a chance in like a breakaway in today's game. And I think like the only way for Wayne Gretzky to really be as high caliber of a player as like McDavid and Matthews are today, you'd literally have to like have him born in today's game and practice with these goalies and these players growing up just like the rest of us do, and he'd just have to be a top level player throughout all of that, and he'd just have to build his way just to the NHL just like every other player did, like McDavid and Matthews. He couldn't just automatically just be given the stuff and the training and just automatically be that good of a player. It's just it's so different.
That's definitely fair. Goaltending has come a long way. The only time you ever see a pad stack is when you're playing Chell.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, no, if you took – actually, I take that back. If you took Gretzky and you put him in a time machine and you gave him new equipment, yeah, he probably wouldn't find a lot of success in the NHL. He'd still be an incredible hockey player. He could still play Division I college hockey. He could still play minor pro. But
Are you talking about just equipment or like the training and aspects? Like at the same age, or are we talking about like him?
Like
being
if you
born
took a 20-year-old Wayne Gretzky and you put him on a USHL team, I think eventually he would be able to find his way to minor pro hockey. But yeah, I don't think he would have the same level of dominance unless he was born in this day and age. But also, even if he was born in this day and age, I guess you're right that he was so far ahead of the curve. He was a lot closer to modern players than the players he was playing against.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I guess you're right. I do not think Wayne Gretzky would find as much success as he did. Link, what do you think?
I'd agree with all of you now, I guess.
Yeah.
I think he just needs to grow up.
So I'm right.
In the day and age that we are in,
that.
so that he can be able to perform at the same level.
Yeah, it really pains me to say it, but Belly.
This is our MLB section. I'm here with Parker, Charlie, and Briggs. Recently, the Yankees manager Aaron Boone was ejected. Have the umps gone too far with the situation?
In case you don't know what's went on recently at the Yankees game, manager Aaron Boone was ejected over a fan chirping. The umpire released an official apology. However, he said he thought it was a player coming from the dugout and decided since Boone was in charge of the dugout, he should be the one to take the fall and decided to eject him. What's your guys' thoughts on that? Have the umps gone too power hungry?
I kind of feel for the umps, honestly, because, umps are always getting trashed, always getting yelled at, and I understand why he'd be angry, because I'm sure the fan wasn't saying anything nice.
Yeah, they constantly have to take blame, and during his apology, I heard he was pretty indirect and did not claim responsibility, which is pretty messed up for how he acted.
The Shohei Ohtani gambling scandal has been a big thing in the MLB going around. And is it possible that the MLB is helping cover this up, or is Ohtani innocent and is his interpreter gambling money instead? What is your take on that?
I mean, Ohtani's obviously the MLB's golden boy right now, coming off a MVP. I really don't think the MLB are going to want to out him. But by the looks of it, with the two story changes and everything that's gone on, I think Ohtani is clearly guilty of this, but I don't think the MLB are going to want to hurt their golden boy.
Yeah, I do think it's a little suspicious that the story's changed so many times and all the stuff going on with his interpreter. It's a little suspicious to me.
And how much money is going through. It seems like a pretty big cover-up, but it's not something that the MLB hasn't done before.
Could be. Speaking of MVPs, right now, due to an MLB poll, Mookie Betts is leading the NL voting for MVP. What's your guys' take on that? Do you think he'll be the MVP at the end of the season, or do you guys have other options?
I think Ozuna's looking pretty hot right now, leading the league in homers. I always love to see some homers, and I think he might lead that poll later in the season.
I think Shohei, he still could be a candidate. Even with the stuff going on right now, he still has a strong strength in his team, and he is making it happen.
This is our golf section. We're going to talk about the Masters, where Scotty Scheffler became the first golfer since World War II to win multiple Masters in his first 5 times playing the Masters. And he's won 4 of his 5 last starts. He's on a hot streak. What are our overall thoughts on the Masters?
I think Scotty dominated it. Another time where he won by multiple strokes, and he's just continuing to play great and just show really how good he is right now.
Well, you're right, except he didn't dominate. He was down almost 5 strokes at one point after he made a terrible double bogey with a 3-putt. But then he followed it back up with an eagle. That's the level of golf Scotty Scheffler's playing right now. He can make himself look like your average Joe on the putting green. And then the next hole he goes back, drains a 40-footer for eagle, and he's back in contention.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the level of golf he's playing right now.
Yeah, I would say kind of like with Tolley, I would almost agree because he was able to play so well with so many questionable putts. He missed a few very questionable putts, but then also he did make some longer putts. But I just think that his ability to strike the ball was just so good. And his putting was not great, but he was still able to win by a pretty good margin.
And last episode, Brian talked about how Augusta will be harder this year and favor lefties. How do we think that played out? Did it favor lefties?
I do not think it favored lefties, just by results. For example, Phil was +8. Like a bunch of players such as Bubba, Brian Harmon, they were all cut, and I just think I like the idea of the prediction, but it just didn't turn out. The results weren't there. But
yeah, I mean, there's not a lot of lefties at the top of the PGA Tour right now, but I would go so far as to say my prediction was somewhat correct. The course was a lot longer, and righties were forced to play a cut, and due to that, the longest right-handed hitters found a lot of success. Bryson DeChambeau, early on, came out of the gate swinging. Scotty Scheffler, also one of the longest players on tour. Max Homa, Ludwig Aberg. They're all very long players. And, the players who are averaging just normal PGA Tour yardage, they had to play a draw, and that didn't play out for them. I think it was more of just poor performance from the lefties and the big hitters. They showed out.
I still find it hard to say that your prediction was correct, though, just because of the outcomes that we were shown. Like Phil at +8, all these lefties cut. It's hard to say. I see where you're coming from.
Well, I didn't say my prediction was correct. I said my analysis was somewhat correct. I mean,
somewhat. I would disagree with that. I mean.
Yeah, I'm going with Jack.
Yeah.
Disagreeing.
Okay, well, you guys can hate all you want, but yeah, no lefties found a lot of success, but the longest hitters playing a cut on the right hand side of the ball did. Now, I didn't see that as big of a factor, but it definitely played into the hands of that left to right golf course.
Yeah, I would agree.
Tiger Woods, 24th cut made in a row at the Masters, a record. Obviously, he kind of fell off in that third round, but so did everyone else. What do we think about Tiger's performance this year?
It was good to see him out there.
Yeah.
I think it was good. It was good to see him playing. It didn't finish great, but he kept working, kept grinding, hit some bad shots, hit some good shots. It was good to see him out at the Masters again for sure.
Yeah, I would say he's playing very inconsistent. He has very good rounds and then very bad rounds. What was it, 10 over his third round?
It was pretty high.
Well, I think it's kind of symbolic of maybe the changing of the guard between Scheffler and Tiger. Now, Tiger was doing what Scheffler was doing for 10 straight years. So I'm absolutely not comparing Scheffler's career to Tiger's, but the run Scotty is on and the dominance we're seeing from him is Tiger-esque. But Scotty is going to need to keep that up for a decade if he wants to be in the same conversation as Tiger.